Good day. Welcome to the episode of Supply Chain India. Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy and Big Basket. All familiar names for us. COVID or no COVID, we got used to buying everything online. Door delivery, very convenient. Their business potential is so huge. Investable funds from overseas is also available to them in huge dollops. The story is same in the great city of London. Last mile delivery is getting crowded there. Vidya Prakash scans the London landscape to tell this story.
5 years ago, Getir set sailing on the city streets of Istanbul, in Turkey, delivering groceries, fruits and vegetables by two-wheel riders. It did not anticipate one day it would replicate this door delivery format in the heart of London. Now it does. It is giving a tough fight to Deliveroo, Ocado, GoPuff and several other last-mile delivery service providers in London. The COVID pandemic furthered the business with the mandated stay-at-home government directive. Getir in Turkish means bring. What a name! Right from the beginning, money was never a challenge. Investors kept pumping in. Today, Getir is valued at 850 million American dollars. This Turkish startup added London to 10 cities it is already serving back home. A driver in a yellow and purple suit riding the yellow and purple scooter with a delivery box on the back is a common sight in Turkey. Now in London also. More European cities are targeted. Sao Paulo and Mexico City are identified as potential cities to invade across the Atlantic. Traffic congestion is something Getir bosses cherish. Many cities across the globe offer the perfect setting. Place an order and your merchandise will reach in 10 minutes flat. Super fast delivery in minutes is its best selling point. Compare this timing with the Chinese player's 17-minute delivery promise. America's GoPuff does it in 30 minutes. Whew! Secure Capital is one of its key investors. Getir buys merchandise, wholesale, stocks and delivers. It has not taken the conventional franchise model. Plus, Getir delivery riders are on its payroll, drawing more salary than the average London wage earners. Its business model is enabling more and better job opportunities in the logistics vertical at a time when Boris Johnson's Brexit is causing a lot of heartburns among the 83 million British population. Getir serves 3 million every month on an average. Getir is leading the super delivery pack, leaving others huffing and puffing.
Thanks Vidya for the Getir story. Don't be surprised if she returns with new developments in the last mile delivery space quickly. After all, the London fight is all about the fastest delivery. Within 10 minutes promise, doable? Getir is performing this miracle despite the city traffic congestion. We will be back with you soon on the other side. Stay tuned.
Tata DLT has always been the first choice of customers when it comes to trailers. Because we are India's leaders in the trailer manufacturing business. We have secured a special place of trust with our quality and impact. We believe in constantly improving and giving customers more and more options to suit their needs.
We noticed that there is a gap between 46-ton and 55-ton GCVW.
To bridge the gap, we have come up with a solution that redefines goods vehicles. With the consistency in best performance, our engineers came up with innovations in the designing and upgraded the technology. We are happy to introduce to our customers Tata DLT Gajraj with upgraded technology and design. The conventional axle arrangement in the 4x2 prime mover has been redesigned to enable an increase in the payload up to 6.5 to 9 tons. This increase is within the permissible limits of CMVR. Different configurations are available with the upgraded design. All the designs are ARAI approved, making them more authentic and trustworthy. The Gajraj range of trailers has successfully passed the ARAI track trail test as per AIS 113 at WAPCO Chennai with the ARAI certified Tata DLT axle and Tata DLT 13-ton air suspension kit. Weight distribution along the axles is managed so as to ensure effective carriage. Hence, the customer gets about the same load in a 4x2 prime mover that was possible with a 6x4 prime mover, making it cost-effective and curbing the need to invest in a higher-end prime mover. Our Gajraj range offers 3 types of configurations, that is,
in 52-ton, 54-ton and 55-ton.
this redesigning is sure to reduce the operating cost and increase your profitability. Choose your variant and prosper with Gajraj.
Welcome back. You are watching Supply Chain India. Do you know that waste disposal is a multi-billion-dollar business globally? E-com companies are the biggest generators of waste not only in India but everywhere on planet Earth. Don't believe? Next time collect the parcel at your doorstep when Amazon or Zomato or any of these e-commerce delivery executives ring the bell to hand over your merchandise bought online. Among the waste items, plastic is the biggest pain point. Still not to lose your sleep? India is doing well in waste disposal arena, says Harinarayan, heading the Confederation of Indian Industry Supply Chain Network Platform or CIISNP.
India currently produces about 220,000 tons of waste per day, right? If you know it, 220,000 tons what we create with a ratio of 65-30-35 between wet and dry. And that goes at a mix of 40-30-30 between paper, plastic and others. So let me bring plastics as one of the key opportunity. I won't say it's a culprit, but let me pick it as a key opportunity, right? I believe plastic is gold, right? So we need to bring in plastic as the discussion point. Let's pick up 220,000 tons per day. This is the World Bank data, so it's all notified information, of which 65-30 ratio between wet and dry, of which let's pick up the consumer side of the waste. We have a ratio of 40-30-30. So this means about 16,000 tons per day of plastic waste is generated in India per day. And one good news for India is, I'm just setting the background right, India is one of the best recyclers in the world. It's not even developed economy. If you see the global average today of plastic waste today, it goes at the ratio of about 79, 12 and 9. 79% is landfill, 12% is incineration and 9% is recycling. But if you look at India today, thanks to our entrepreneurship spirit, and especially from Gujarat, right? I give full marks to the Gujarat as a state. The plastic recycling happening in India today is to the range of 60%. 60? So we have one of 60% in India compared to the rest of the whatever is collected, we recycle 60%. See, India is one of the best in class average currently globally on recycling. Let's respect that first, right? We are doing a lot of good work thanks to our entrepreneurship spirit in India. See, right? So now the issue right now today, if I have to divide the project into 4 compartments, right? First part, let me talk about how do we handle? We all know we have a problem in terms of segregation at source. Second issue, what we have a problem of the unorganized structure of the waste flow. The third issue, what we have today is there are limited application of technology. And the fourth point is there are no collaborative movement amongst various stakeholders, starting from government. So if you have to bucket it into 4 compartments, the same project, I would say, in an English word, if you have to structure it, I would say organized waste flow, number 1. Number 2, delayering of waste flow. Number three, innovations and product developments in terms of applications. Number four, I call it a green alliance.
Green Alliance.
Yeah, I call it a supply chain alliance at a larger context. When I bring in the reverse logistics into it, I call it a supply chain alliance. All the stakeholders have a lot of role to play. Entire community has
name the stakeholders. Hari, name the stakeholders.
Yeah, stakeholders, I believe, put the government in the front. Not
Government
even the branch.
Can be a facilitator, isn't it?
Government facilitatory role. Government don't have to end it. Government has to provide an enabling structure. I'll tell why. Second stakeholder here is the guys who creates it, the brands, the FMCG companies.
Who creates maximum waste? The industry, the citizens. Who does the maximum?
You have to look at the source itself. In the supply chain, we always look at the source, where it comes from. Right? The worst source here is the brands who use us packaging, which is the consumer goods companies mostly and consumer durable companies. So if you look at the current structure in India, the major contributors are the FMCG or consumer goods companies and the consumer durable companies, and the derived impact of e-commerce and all the brands and the service providers use us packaging. So we cannot blame anybody. Everybody is doing with a good intention. The issue here is there are many missing links in the overall the whole chain. Like you sell it to way you sell your products, the same way you have to have a reverse network to go it towards the waste flow. That is the disconnect. Why there is a disconnect today at the consumer like you and me, there is no proper segregation at source. Even today, though we have been talking, lots of money has gone into segregation at source as an awareness building initiative, and we are still at a very pathetic level. Right? So how to make it happen? So I pick up the first point here for an engagement and a correction strategy here is how to ensure that waste is segregated at source at households like you and me. How many of us, if you ask a sample of 100 people and talk to them, how many of us segregate your waste between wet and dry into 3 bins? Or you may put and then give it back to the guy or a person who collects it at the doorstep. Or how many of us, how many know our cases it's getting collected first? If it is getting collected, how many of the cases it is segregated and given it to them between wet and dry? So that it's forget even segregating the dry itself into 3 buckets. I'm only talking about segregation at source between wet and dry. There itself we have a disconnect. So what we are happening is, let me explain the ground to right. A lot of brands, a lot of companies are trying to work with NGOs and the even UNDP plays a very aggressive role in making this happen. Most of us miss the point. UNDP is very aggressive in India in terms of waste recycling, collection, awareness building. Lots of NGOs are working in this space. Thanks to this EPR fee, right? You are fully aware of EPR is the extended producer liability which government has brought in, right? Through the Pollution Control Board. EPR liability today, each brand is liable to book a certain amount of cost in their P&L per kg basis. That means if I sell for a company like XYZ sells about 10,000 crores of revenue in India, they have to look at it state-wise. They have to look at it, how many kgs and how many tons of plastic is getting sold. Like you raise your invoice, you should have a green invoice, right? So you have to have a green invoice clearly saying how many kgs of plastic is getting sold to your respective markets at a state level, at a district level, at a city level. So if you have this way you raise your GSTs today, way your taxation you do. So we should have, I'm not saying a green tax, the way we use the EPR cost, the brand, their brands are incurring the cost today. But unfortunately, is it get rightly channelized into a right set of people who is executing the strategy? My guess, there are gaps. So the primary issue we need to fix, government as an enabler, is try to look at it, how to get this green tax which you are pushing on to the brands today, make them more effective in terms of the collection strategy. So what this means here is everybody, when you, every corporation, every panchayat, every gram panchayat, wherever it's getting sold, we should stay focused at this stage on 80-20. You cannot go everywhere and create a model. So we have to strictly follow the 80-20 approach. One guideline here. Maybe it boils down to top 100 cities of India. So if you look at the waste generation, I have some statistics I've been reviewing, and it's my report, it clearly captures the top 100 cities of India contribute 75% of the total waste.
100 cities, 75% wastage. But
Waste
actually,
generation,
it's a
India.
good thing, Hari, because it narrows down. So 100, instead of not trying to, trying to replicate the
Absolutely.
situation pan-India basis, you have a
Yeah.
chance to really narrow down to 100 cities. I mean, that's a wow. It's a wow factor.
I'll take it to the one stage further, right? Of these 100 cities, if you pick up 41 cities of India are with a population of more than 1 million, which I call it the tier 1 cities of India.
Wow.
So again, to give more maths to this whole framework, the tier 1 cities of India, the per capita waste generation is 0.45 kg in India, even in India today. These are all validated data, right? It's all thanks to so much of consumerism in India, all data is available everywhere. The issue here is how do we get all the data together, make some commercial sense out of the data as the first step.
Well, let's focus on, how do we,
Yeah, so let me put that statement first.
See, one is study is fine. Hari, the study is fine. The data collection, data analytics, everything has happened. Okay, what is the roadmap to really tackle this very, very major crisis? Okay, the waste, the waste is a major waste. It impacts the GDP as well. So what is the way forward? What is the roadmap? How do we tackle this?
So what I strongly recommend, we have a lot of good case studies in India today, thanks to last 3 years of efforts or last 5 years of effort. We call it the material recovery facilities.
Material recovery?
Material recovery facilities, MRFs, it is called. Right? What is happening in every corporation or every panchayat should motivate local entrepreneurs to set up material recovery facilities.
Okay.
And they work in collaborations with the local bodies, which is the Gram Panchayat, District Panchayat, the corporations. There should be a local collaborations between local bodies and the local entrepreneurs. It creates a lot of employment. You see the positive side of it. If you can get this material recovery facility, that means this way the scope metrics goes like this. The local municipality or appointed service providers collect the waste. They segregate between wet and dry. That should be a part of the SOPs on which we should work. I'm talking now a blueprint. Once the waste is segregated, the collection agency, it can be the service provider themselves, or it can be the local bodies themselves. They collect it. They do maybe ideally a one more level of segregation so that waste, once it is segregated, the wet and dry has to go separately, because wet has got different application, dry has got different applications. Even within dry itself, what these material recovery centers do here is improve the commercial value of waste. And each of these facilities should function like a standalone P&L by itself. Unless and otherwise, business runs it as a standalone P&L and entrepreneurs are not motivated to run it, this business model will not work. So our responsibility, as a work group, as government, as brands, as all the entire supply chain community and sustainability community, the primary responsibility here is build commercially viable, sustainable material recovery facilities jointly with the local bodies.
So it also generates jobs, isn't it? It also generates huge amount of employment. Grassroots level.
Yeah. So what we also do here is the model. I fully salute UNDP and few initiatives like Unilever and Coke is doing in India. They created about, my guess as on today, end of 2020, they would have done, or 2019, they would have created about 50 such model projects in India. I full marks to UNDP. So what is happening is any major cities in India, their objective here is to set up commercially viable models so that local entrepreneurs can learn. They're not here to run the recovery facilities for a perpetual basis, right? Their objective here is to show it to the community there are viable models, let the brand see it, let the waste recyclers and packaging companies like us see it, and then we all collaborate and make it commercially viable. So the primary objective we all need to put it together is build self-sustaining, commercially viable material recovery facilities. So that now I get into the technical part of the discussion. So wet and dry is segregated at source. That means a lot of NGOs need to work with the local bodies and the state governments. It's a state subject. It's not a central subject. Right. So all the state governments should work collaboratively with the respective local bodies in ensuring waste is segregated up at source. It is a behavioral issue, nothing else. It's a training issue. So there's a lot of money has to go into building this awareness. NGOs have to work, associations have to work, brands can take a positive role, right? I call it, it's a branding is very effective. If you look at a brand, all these top 100 brands of India come together and channelize their efforts in putting the branding around segregation as a behavior, right? So see the kind of impact all of us drive together. So this is somewhere some sort of a channeling of efforts have to happen in driving that behavior. Step one.
Yeah, Hari, yes, you rightly mentioned 100 companies, major brands can come together, pump in money and drive this, initiative. It will be fantastic. Considering the fact that you are, part of CII and you are, driving this supply chain network and with a greater focus on, a packaging and other, reverse logistics and etc. Well, yes, we are talking to the right man, perhaps. You can take charge and you can take charge and really galvanize the whole initiative.
Sure. What we're actually doing that, the purpose of creating this AIA S&P forum to have a set of like-minded people who drive this objective. You won't believe we have shared a 10-point action list to Sri Pavan Kumar Agarwal ji. One of the action point is clearly sustainability initiative, make this model happen. So we are listed down 10 action points in the order of priorities, converting into some are low-hanging, some are futuristic, or short-term and long-term. So we clearly bucketed into 2 buckets or 3 buckets, short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And we said the short-term projects can happen on an yesterday basis. Nothing stops us from executing this. So what are those 3 initiatives which we can implement on an yesterday basis? What are the initiatives we can implement today and tomorrow? What are the initiatives we can implement day after tomorrow?
Tell me, Hari, what can we see? Look, government is like a huge elephant. Okay, it takes its own, sweet time to really, move. Okay, whereas the corporates are, definitely are, a fast footer. Okay, what sure. The corporate, you are talking about CII, S&P kind of platform. What the corporates can immediately, get going while, seeking the government to really chip in. Tell me what 3 steps the corporates are already doing or what it can do without, waiting for a helping hand from government immediately. Yes, I'm not saying the government is not going to help because it's basically a national project. Okay, it's a national drive. Okay, what the corporates can do quickly as of, yesterday basis, today basis, leaving, the medium term, for a greater stakeholder involvement and engagement. Hari.
Yeah, my suggestion is the job of all of us. What we forum like this, we are trying to look at, can we keep 100 case studies running across India? So people can see what is happening. Is it running? So publish, make it happen, these POCs at ground level, show it to the whole entrepreneurship community. This is happening. This is viable. This is scalable. Its benefit meets the purpose of improving recycling and reduce the landfill. Show it to the whole community, including people like us, including corporates, including government, including state government, local urban bodies. Can we create 100 such POCs across India so that people can touch and feel the success of these projects?
True.
We need to make it happen at ground level. So that is one of our objectives we are going to try. So we will be speaking to the successful entrepreneurs locally in India who has taken it as a business by itself. There are about hundreds of them, it's running it as a business by itself. They're making money out of it.
True.
The issue here is they need support. We need to see those gap areas. One action point there. Second action point is working with those institutions which you have demonstrated these success stories already. And help them, work with them to scale it up. And an association like S&P Forum, what we will be focusing is how to ensure that we have at least 100 such case studies running across in India, maybe even an 18 months time frame, because we cannot commit more. We don't know what are the issues at ground level. We need to get people together. Michael said 12 months time frame, we should see that we don't have to do everything ourselves. You see what is happening today in the country, see those gaps, do a sort of a classical ASIS gap analysis and to be in terms of challenges and support. So we are in the process of documenting the gaps, We are in the process of documenting the to-be action plans. So my guess is we are doing another large, we will be doing every quarterly one roundtable with a larger audience. So we have done one in September, we have done one in December where Sri Pavan Kumar ji was also invited to release our report. We are doing one in March, and we are doing one again in June. So when you do this March conference, we will be documenting, I won't call it a conference, let me dock it as a roundtable. We will be documenting, we will be sharing this gap analysis and to be action plans to be make it happen at ground level for see that can we have this 100 MRFs running up front.
Yeah, Hari, kindly, permit me to interrupt. Tell me, yes, we are basically talking about, recycling or, once it reaches a consumer end, what to do. What is that's happening at the sourcing? And at the time of, we are talking about, fast moving consumer products and all those kind of, things.
Or consumer durables, everybody. Or even,
yeah. So how do we, how do we really reduce the, reduce the packaging part of it? Can it be, can it be crushed? Can it be really reduced? Talk about that. What kind of initiatives
happening today? If you talk, if you look at any socially responsible organization today, it is part of the DNA today. I think the work the corporates have to do, it's my guess, it's already happening at ground level. If you pick up any brand, any company, anywhere in the world, especially a socially responsible organization, all are trying to reduce the the plastic footprint by 25% or 10% or 50%. Everybody has a time frame to talk. Everybody has a percentage to talk. People are talking year-on-year improvements at ground level in terms of reducing the plastic consumption or waste, reducing waste for landfill. I think it can be plastic, it can be paper, it can be metal, it could be anything. Even it could be one of the biggest culprit to me is in the whole ecosystem is EPS, which is currently even today we are struggling to figure out. You look at the two negative list of packaging material today. I bet on one of the key challenge for all of us is EPS, which is the extended polystyrene, right? Which you use for all the durable packaging. You see anything comes those corners. If you see anywhere on walks, take a walk across the street, you see one thing floating around is the EPS. This is the biggest culprit today in the India. So my guess, there is a negative list. We should work on the negative list and say that how do we develop alternatives for negative list? I'm just bringing the discussion, number one, which is we have to start from the negative list. So without addressing the negative list, so we have to put a house in order. Maybe multi-layer plastic, multi-layer laminate today. People are struggling to segregate the waste, right? When you have a 5-layer structure in terms of plastic packaging, we have a challenge to handle, especially on plastics. Maybe you have got a PP, PET, aluminum foil. Issue here is the only option today is burn it. That means you give it to the cement plant, they burn it, you pay money to burn it, most of the cases. So the issue here is, that's what I'm taking you back to the material recovery facility. They become the case studies to showcase this. If you look at the per kg realization of plastic waste for a material recovery centers, 50% are plastics with a negative value. Why? Because what is coming from the source? It could be multi-layer plastics, it could be thin plastics, it could be EPS. These are plastics or products which don't have a commercial value, which has currently got a negative commercial value. The issue here for us here is how to ensure we don't have products in our supply chain with a negative commercial value today and work on the negative list today and see that how do we fast track those gaps. That's one action point which we should look. And on the brand side, I'm 100% convinced as a service provider or a part of the community of plastic packaging industry overall, we are 100% sure that industry is doing the part. Any company which is socially responsible, they have the short-term, medium-term, and long-term action plans in terms of reducing the plastic consumption because they're dealing with consumer family.
That was Harinarayan of the Confederation of Indian Industry Supply Chain Network platform. This industry veteran is so passionate about the subject, he could not be stopped. He went on and on sharing gems of wisdom based on his exposure, this critical issue. We will be back with more of this pearl of wisdom in the next dispatch. This brings us to the end of the 14th episode of Supply Chain India. Hope you liked it. Share your feedback with us. Like and subscribe to our channel. We will be back soon with another edition. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe, and goodbye.